This is Samasthitihi. We begin standing in neutral. And as you find your neutral stance, remember neutral can be a lot of things. You might have a practiced way of doing this. You know where neutral is for you already. You might be trying out options, feeling your way through. Close the eyes if it's available. Stack your head in relative neutral over the rest of your body. Relax the wings of your shoulders a little bit and notice how the rib cage can flare open in front of you. In Samasthitihi, take a moment to study how things are to arrive, to feel the literal ground underneath your feet, to notice the heaviness of your bones, the lightness of your breath. And classically, this practice starts with the Wande Guru Nam, the chant to the lineage. Some of you know it or have heard it. Today we're going to omit it. We'll skip it and replace it instead with the all-encompassing chant, 3 rounds of the seed sound of Om. But I want to put forth that the Wande Guru Nam has a couple of lines in there about using the practice to wake up from the poison of conditioned existence. So as we utilize this practice to illuminate our patterns, remember that it's not always easy, and in fact, pretty courageous to decide to turn towards the illusion and shatter it. And a lot of folks live inside of it pretty much their whole lifetime. So give yourself permission to be gentle and kind with that brave work. And then if you'd like, you can join for the 3 rounds of the seed sound of Om or stand in silence. To prepare, take an inhale in through your nose and open your mouth to exhale, HA. Inhale, prepare for Om. Take a long inhale in through your nose in the Ujjayi form. And a slow exhale out through your nose in the Ujjayi form. And continue to breathe in this Ujjayi pattern in through the nose and out through the nose. And cultivating a sense of rise and a sense of fall. Inflation and deflation. And the Ujjayi breath, the upward liberating, victorious breath, the psychic breath, is the primary practice. Everything else follows this pattern to connect us to the karma of here and now, as the breath you're breathing is always happening right now. On your next Ujjayi inhale, flutter your eyes open. On your next exhale, tune into the space around you and slowly at first, Surya Namaskara A. Inhale your arms out or forward, up overhead, Urdhva Hastasana, reach up. Exhale, forward fold, stick out your tail, hinge at your hips, bend your knees if you need to. Inhale, halfway lift. Unroll the sternum out long. Exhale, hands down, step back, chaturanga, lower all the way down this first time, a modified form, tops of your feet down. Inhale, Bhujangasana, cobra pose, warm the spine. Exhale, bring your chin or forehead down and curl the toes. From knees or toes, inhale, table or plank. Exhale, down dog, spin your tail high and your heels low and breathe. 5 rounds of Ujjayi pranayama in downward dog pose. I'll count it the first time. 1, 2, breathe freely for the amount of time that I'm counting. 4, 5. Steady the ground under your hands. Exhale, step or float forward. Land on the soles of your feet. Inhale and roll, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, arms up pose, reach upward, whichever setting is kind to your shoulders. Exhale, samasthiti, return to neutral, arms come down. Good. Ekam, inhale, arms up, reaching upward. Due, exhale, forward fold, dive down. Trini, inhale and roll to set. Chatwari, exhale, step or float back. Chaturanga, lower halfway. Pancha, inhale, up dog. Press the palms down, tops of the feet down, strong straightening legs. Shat, exhale, downward dog pose, tail high, heels low, and breathe. And there's lots of ways you can flip over your toes one at a time. Breathe in down dog, 5 breaths every time. Lay down your hands in such a way that you can relax your neck and extend your shoulders. Your pelvis will tilt up and back. Feel free to keep your knees bent or your heels lifted, especially if it takes pressure acutely out of your low spine. Press into your hands, Ujjayi, exhale, step or float forward, arrive on the soles of your feet. Inhale, halfway lift, Supta. Ashto, exhale, forward fold. Noah, inhale all the way up to Urdhva Hastasana, reaching upward. Exhale to Samasthiti, right back to neutral. Good. Ekam, inhale, arms up, reaching up. Due, exhale, forward fold, dive all the way down. Trini, inhale, halfway lift, unroll to set. Chatwari, exhale, step or float back. Chaturanga, lower half or all. Pancha, inhale, up dog, or feel free to alternate in cobra. Shat, exhale, downward facing dog pose. Please breathe in the Ujjayi form, in and out through your nose. Breathing. Ujjayi pranayama. Exhales tend to be a good focus. This week and in my other classes, I've been talking about destruction as a practice of liberation. Right? Sometimes we have patterns in this lifetime that we used before that we needed, that we don't need anymore. Right? But just like anything that we're attached to, there's tenderness in its destruction sometimes. It requires courage, it requires the ability to feel powerful in a new identity or in a new way of things. As you exhale, step, hop, or float forward, land on your feet. Inhale, halfway lift, Supta, Ashto, exhale, forward fold. Noah, inhale all the way up to Urdhva Hastasana, reaching upward. Exhale, Samastitihi, arms come down. A few more. Ekam, inhale, breathe your ribs up, arms up. Due, exhale, fold by sticking out your tail behind you. Trini, inhale, unroll your breastbone forward, halfway lift. Chatwari, exhale, plant the hands and float back with an open heart. Chaturanga Dandasana. Pancha, inhale, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, up dog, pull your heart through. Shat, exhale, Adho Mukha Svanasana, down dog. Ujjayi Pranayama, breathe into your back and side ribs. Your exhales emblemate destruction, and at least that's generally how we think of it. Remember that not every exhale has to be forceful to be effective, right? It can be full of power without being full of tension. It also could be effective, soft, and easy, right? Find the breath that serves the energy that you need, the balm that you need for healing today. Exhale, float forward, land on your feet. Supta, inhale, halfway lift, unroll. Ashto, exhale, forward fold in deeply. Noah, inhale all the way up. Urdhva Hasta Asana, arms up pose. Exhale, Samastitihi, 10 is 0, back to neutral. Last one. Inhale, arms up, breathe up. Exhale, forward fold, dive down. Inhale, halfway lift, unroll to set. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana, step or float to lower. Inhale, upward dog pose. Exhale, downward dog pose, strong legs, Ujjayi Pranayama. See if you can straighten your legs without forcing your knees back. And that might just be by degrees. Your knees might stay bent from an external point of view. See if you can extend your heart towards your ankles without involving the back of your neck gripping or your jaw clenching. Relax and breathe in the Ujjayi form, in and out through your nose. You might consider Ujjayi breath a collaborator in your destroying of what is no longer for you. Steady the ground under your thumbs. Ujjayi, exhale, step or float forward, land on the soles of your feet at the top of your mat. Inhale, unroll, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold, body towards legs. Inhale, arms up, pose, Urdhva Hastasana, reach all the way upward. And exhale to Samasthiti, stand in neutral. Good. We're going to do a little Uddiyana Bandha exercise. If you know it, then you know it. If it's new, then it'll be fun. So step your feet wider than your mat is, about wider than hips distance, and you can turn your toes out, stack your hands on your knees, straighten your elbows. It's okay if they lock as long as it doesn't hurt. That way you don't have to hold muscular tension in the belly. What we're trying to do here is draw the navel in, up, and back all the way. You don't have to like squeeze your butt. It doesn't have to be super extreme. It's hard to see me here, so I'll come over towards the spotlight I have, at least for my belly. But it looks like this if you've never done it. You'll exhale all the air out. And then draw your belly in, up, and back. And when you release, you'll inhale through your nose, right? And we'll hold it there. So it doesn't have to be super extreme. Again, I'm making it extreme so you can see it. If you've already begun, keep going in your own timing. Otherwise, plant your hands and exhale the air you have in your body. And get a little bit emptier, press that breath away. And then hold it empty and gather your navel in, up, and back. This is Uddiyana Bandha, the navel seal. Inhale through your nose. Good. And again, exhale through your mouth. Hold it empty. Gather your navel in, up, and back. Lift the floor of your pelvis up. And one more time today, exhale the air you have. Inhale in through your nose. And open mouth, exhale. And hold it. Gather your navel in, up, and back. And lift the floor of your pelvis up, Mula Bandha, the root seal. Tone the muscles there to lift towards the internal organs. Very nice. Inhale in through the nose. And exhale to Samasthiti, return to neutral. All right, let's do Surya Namaskara B. Take a big free inhale. Exhale, bend your knees, sink your hips for Utkatasana, fierce pose, sometimes called chair. Inhale your arms forward or up overhead. Look up if your neck allows. Exhale, forward fold. Straighten your legs as you dive down. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward dog pose. Still inhaling, lift your hips up and back. Exhale, down dog. Step your right foot directly forward. Spin your left heel down. Inhale, warrior one. Arms out or up, reaching upward. Exhale, chaturanga. Plant your hands. Step your right foot back and lower. Inhale, upward dog. Still inhaling, lift your hips. Exhale, down dog, and still exhaling, left foot steps, right heel roots. Inhale, out and up, warrior one, a little back bend if you like. Exhale, chaturanga. Plant the hands, lower half or all the way. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. Ujjayi pranayama. In and out through your nose, breathing. Just like in Sunny, we stay for about 5 rounds of breath in the down dog after the warrior postures. Next, Ujjayi, exhale, complete the cycle. Step or float forward, land on your feet. Inhale, halfway lift, reset your spine. Exhale, forward fold and bend your knees. Inhale, fierce pose, Utkatasana. Still inhaling, stand all the way up. Exhale, Samasthiti, bend your knees, sink your hips. Inhale, Utkatasana. Exhale, Uttanasana, folding. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana, halfway lift. Exhale, Chaturanga, Dandasana. Inhale, Urdhva Mukha. Exhale, Adho Mukha, right foot for warrior one. Inhale, Virabhadrasana, strong heels plug down. Exhale, Chaturanga, Dandasana, head up it up, heart open. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog and your left foot. Inhale, Virabhadrasana, reach up. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana, set it down. Inhale, Urdhva Mukha. Exhale. Adho Mukha, breathe in down dog. In and out through your nose. We have more accessory breathing muscle help on our exhales. So if you are seeking to manipulate the breath in some way, perhaps to slow it down or smooth it out, focus on exhaling. Exhale, float forward, land on your feet. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold, bend your knees. Inhale, fierce pose. Still inhaling, stand up. Exhale, samasthiti, bend the knees, sink the hips. Next one, inhale, arms up. Exhale, folding deeply. Inhale, halfway lift. Float on your exhale, chaturanga dandasana. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Step your right foot forward for warrior one. Then use a breath. Take yourself out and up. Exhale, slow, chaturanga. Plant the hands, settle down. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward dog, and your left foot steps. Inhale, warrior one, noble hero. Inhale, out and up. Exhale, chaturanga dandasana. Plant your hands and lower down and in. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward dog pose, and breathe in and out through your nose. Sunbee can feel like a marathon. We're doing more than one thing in one breath. We're using large muscles to squat and lunge, and asks a little more of our heart and our cardiovascular system, more oxygen trying to get pulled in by the breath. Notice how you're doing what you're doing, or what the approach is, and always slow it down, and always make a different choice. And always study the ability to stay open and soft, even in effort. Exhale, float forward, land on your feet. Inhale, halfway lift, unroll your heart. Exhale, fold and bend the knees, sink the hips. Inhale, fierce pose, Utkatasana. Still inhaling, stand up. Exhale, through Samastitihi, bend the knees, sink the hips right into the next one. Inhale, Utkata. Exhale, Uttana. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana, step or float. Inhale, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. Exhale, Adho Mukha, right foot for warrior one. Inhale, out and up, breathe your way up. Exhale, Chaturanga, down and in. Inhale, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, peel your ribs through. Exhale, Adho Mukha Svanasana, left foot steps, right heel roots. Inhale, warrior one, breathe your way out and up, strong heel strike. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana, slowly lower down. Inhale, upward dog or an alternate. Exhale, downward dog pose and breathe. Ujjayi Pranayama in and out through the nose. Breathe into your back and side ribs. You might apply Uddiyana and Mula Bandha on your exhales, toning the low belly, the floor of the pelvis. Slowly transitioning weight back towards your feet. Exhale, float forward, arrive at the top of your mat on the soles of your feet. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold and bend your knees, sink your hips. Inhale, fierce pose. Still inhaling, rise to stand. Exhale through Samasthiti, last round of Sunbee. Bend your knees, sink your hips low. Inhale, fierce pose, Utkatasana. Exhale, forward fold, dive down. Inhale, halfway lift, unroll to set your spine. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana, step or float. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward dog, right foot for warrior one. Inhale, out and up. Exhale, slow, weight in the hands, down and in, chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog, and still inhaling, lift your hips. Exhale, downward dog, and step your left foot forward, right heel down. Inhale, warrior one, rise up, reaching upward. Exhale, chaturanga dandasana, hands down, slow to lower. Inhale, urdhva mukha, upward dog pose. Exhale, adho mukha, downward dog pose. Breathe, please, in the ujjayi form, in through the nose and out through the nose. And study the ground under your feet and under your hands and notice how you're using your relationship with gravity. A lot of our experience in these earth suits in this lifetime is experiential. What are you experiencing? Press into your hands and exhale, step or float forward, land on your feet. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold and bend your knees. Inhale, fierce pose, Utkatasana, still inhaling, stand up. Exhale, Samasthiti, return to neutral. All right, standing postures. Begin with Padangusthasana, hands on your hips if you wish. Step or hop your feet 6 to 8 inches apart. Inhale, breathing, lift the front seam, and exhale, folding. Take 2 peace sign fingers around each big toe, Padangusthasana. The toe is the thumb of the foot. Take an inhale and roll your heart like a halfway lift. And exhale, folding. Bend your elbows to pull yourself in and down. 5 rounds of Ujjayi breath, please. Inhale and roll like a half lift, straighten out the arms. Exhale, Padahastasana, slide the palms of the hands below the soles of the feet. Inhale and rolling. And exhale, folding deeply and breathing. Knees are straightening, even if they're not all the way straight today. Muscular action. Inhale and roll, half lift style. Exhale, hands on your hips. Inhale stands you the rest of the way up. And exhale, Samastiti. All right. Uttita Trikonasana. Step or hop your right foot out and back to the right, about legs distance from your left foot, and turn on your toes. So you're facing your right toes towards what is like the back, I guess, if you're mat. Inhale, arms out like a T. Exhale, triangle pose. Uttita Trikonasana. Right hand down to shin, to thigh, to block, to bind the big toe with the peace sign fingers, perhaps. Gaze upward if your neck allows. That Angushta Dristi in the Erd will form up past your thumb. Let this pose be a twist. It can be a short stance. Roll your back hip forward and down. Roll your heart up and open and breathe. Good. Inhale stands you up. Reverse your feet, spin it around for the opposite side. Tilt your tail out. Exhale to go. Slide deep into the crease of your left hip. Left hand down. Inhale, right arm up. Ujjayi pranayama. Breathing, please. Steady your heels on the ground. Good. Revolved variation, Parivrita Trikonasana. Inhale stands you up. Reverse your feet, and you might turn your back foot toes a little more in so your pelvis feels a bit square. It's up to you. And exhale, folding down over your right leg. Bring your left hand down to your shin, a block or the earth inside or outside of your foot, and inhale your right arm up, twist to the right. Now, most of us kind of lift off the back foot. Try to emphasize instead keeping your back heel down, lifting your left hip up, and only twisting the upper body as far as you can, maintaining that structure of rootedness. Breathing now. Inhale stands you up like a windmill. Reverse your feet, spin it around to face your left foot. Root your right heel down behind you and exhale, fold over your left leg. Right hand down. Inhale, twist to the left, left arm up. Breathing in the Ujjayi form. Good. Inhale stands you up. Today, let's go all the way to the extended side angle. Reverse and simultaneously spread your feet away from one another. Bend your right knee. Track your torso out over your right thigh and bring your right arm to the outside of your right knee. You can let it float and hang, do. If you need to support it on fingertips or on a block or elbow on knee, feel free. Inhale, left bicep over the ear. Classic gaze is upward towards your left thumb. Please breathe in the Ujjayi form, in and out through your nose. Very nice. Inhale, stands you up. Reverse your feet, straighten your right leg, bend your left knee, turn it around. Tilt over your left thigh, left arm outside the left knee or an alternative resting point. And inhale, right bicep over the ear. Apply Uddiyana and Mula Bandha and breathe in and out through your nose. Parivrita, Parsvakonasana. Inhale, stand you up, revolve variation, straighten your left leg and reverse the feet. You're welcome to do this as a lunge. Come high up on the ball of your back foot, lift your heel, left arm up and exhale, revolve to the right. Try to bring your left armpit around your right knee. You might press your palms in prayer or reach your hands around behind the back to bind them behind your left hip. You can also choose to do this variation with the back knee down if it's more accessible to your balance and more kind. Full variation with back heel down. There's no twist in your knee. You feel free. Left hand comes down. Inhale the right bicep over the ear. Ujjayi pranayama in any form. Inhale stands you up. Reverse your feet. You might come high on the ball of your right foot, lunge style. Inhale your right arm up. And exhale, twisting. Try to wrap your right shoulder outside your left knee. And again, you can press your palms together in prayer in front of your heart. You can try reaching around to bind your hands behind your back. You're welcome to take the heel down variation, Ujjayi Pranayama. Urdhva Drishti, look up and towards your top thumb, just as kind as your neck allows. Good. Inhale stands you up. Turn all 10 toes parallel to the long side of your mat. Prasarita Padottanasana A. Hands on your hips. Pull your elbows back. Inhale, lift your heart up. Exhale, folding. Plant your hands straight down on the mat underneath your shoulders. Try to line up your fingertips in line with your toe tips. Inhale and roll your heart like a half lift. And exhale, folding. Bend your elbows like tripod headstand and push into the ground like you're trying to push your fingertips towards where your toes point. See if you can use that pushing leverage, breath by breath, to fold your body down. Bring the crown of your head towards the earth, your tail up to the sky. Keep weight in your heels. Knees are straightening. That doesn't mean they need to be all the way straight today. Muscular action, even if you don't need it to have a straight knee. Good. Inhale and roll your heart. Exhale, hands on your hips right there. Inhale stands you the rest of the way up. And exhale at the top. Inhale, spread your arms out. B variation. Exhale, hands on the hips. Inhale, lift your heart up. And exhale, folding. Spin your pelvis over the heads of your thigh bones with the help of your hands. And breath by breath, use your hands to remind you to activate your iliopsoas, your low belly, your Uddiyana Bandha, Mula Bandha to help you move your spine through space. And if the crown of the head comes to the ground with ease, tuck your chin and bring your face clear through the line of your legs. Inhale stands you all the way up. And exhale there. Inhale, spread the arms. Exhale, leash your fingers behind your back. Inhale, lift your heart straight up. And exhale, folding, breathing. Continue to practice listening to your breath. Let your shoulders keep on going, one big fist. You're always welcome to lighten the grip or to choose an alternative like grabbing a hold of a nearby t-shirt, etc. You can always rest a little bit of your weight of your arms on your back instead and let your shoulders kind of slouch forward like they would in Kurmasana. You have a little bit of compression in the shoulder joint instead there. Breathing in the Ujjayi form. Good. Inhale stands you all the way up. And exhale, hands on your hips, D variation. Inhale, lift the heart. Exhale, fold, reach straight down. Take two peace sign fingers around each big toe. Inhale, unrolling your heart. And exhale, folding by bending your elbows and pulling. Bend your elbows straight out to the side in this variation. You can always grab outside edges of legs or feet as an alternative. Inhale and roll like a halfway lift. Exhale, hands on your hips. Inhale stands you the rest of the way up. Let's exhale to Samastitihi, the top of the mat. Relax your arms down by your sides. Balancing postures begin with Parsvatanasana, sometimes called pyramid pose. So it really means side extending posture. Step your right foot out and back to the right again, about 3.5 feet, and spin on your heels so that you turn to face the back of your mat. Your back toes can be 35, 65, whatever feels good on your back knee, honestly. You can bring your hands behind you in that reverse prayer. Feel free. Alternatively, you might grab for your elbows. Inhale, lift your heart up. And over straightening strong legs, exhale, fold by sticking out your tail. When you get down there, try to relax your neck, let your head hang. Maybe touch any part of your head, any part of your leg. Breathe. Keep your back heel very rooted. Inhale stands you up. Exhale, reverse your feet. Spin it around to face the back edge of your mat. Inhale, breathing, lift your heart up, and exhale, fold. I guess that's actually the front edge over your left leg and hang your upper body. You know, it's so interesting. If you came to yoga in sort of modern times, I think I started practicing in studios probably, 20 years ago. And we always face the same direction, right? So when you have to do one of these things where you turn or orient in a different way, notice how it breaks a little bit of the illusion of the structure. And that might be freeing. Sometimes it's also annoying, and that's okay too. Inhale, stand yourself up, and exhale, step forward, samastitihi, relax your arms down. Buddhita Hasta Parangushtasana, the standing extended big toe holding pose. I'm going to turn to face you to do it, even though I become kind of a ghost person. Your left hand onto your left hip and bend your right knee. You're welcome to take two peace sign fingers around your big toe and work with a bent knee, or to hold around your knee and work with a bent knee the whole time. You can even stay in this first position. If you'd like to extend your right leg, holding the big toe or the blade of the foot. Inhale, extend the right leg out. The leg gets relatively straight. Exhale, folding. Bring your face towards your leg and your leg towards your face by some degree. Breathe into the round of your back ribs. Good. Inhale stands you up if you folded. Exhale, sweep your right leg out to the right. Let your thigh bone turn out in the socket of your hip and turn your gaze to the left. Breathing now. Good. Gaze to center. Inhale the right leg to center. One last time. Exhale, face towards the leg towards the face. Inhale stands you up, and exhale both hands on the hips. Draw your elbows back. You can point or flex the foot, but straighten your leg using your quad and hamstring action. Breathing. Good. Exhale. Release it. All right. Other side. Stand on your right leg and bend your left knee. And you're welcome to hold around the knee. Take 2 peace sign fingers around your big toe if you wish. If you're extending your leg, use an inhale, lift your heart like a half lift as you extend. Your leg is relatively straight. Exhale, fold, bringing your face towards your shin or your knee and breathing. Good. Inhale stands you up if you fold it. Exhale, sweep your left leg out to the left. Turn your gaze to the right and breathe. Good. Gaze to center. Inhale, left leg to center. Exhale, both hands on your hips. Hang your left leg out there in front of you. Lift your heart up. Draw your shoulders down and breathe. Good. Exhale, release it, put it down. You're welcome to move things around a little bit if you like. We're headed next into our folded single leg form of lotus. And in this posture, I often offer an alternative route, and that is the figure 4. So if you have any issue with your knee in this posture, you're going to do this pose instead. Cross the ankle over, work from here. You can work on planting the hands and arm balancing too if you wish. Otherwise, you're welcome to take classic variation. Bend your right knee, lift it up, turn it out, and try to bring the blade of your right foot to the inner crease of your left hip. Let your right knee drop down. Now here you might notice the knee says no. You're going to stay upright and work on balance. If you feel pretty good, you're welcome to reach your right hand behind your back and work towards grabbing your right big toe. If you do, release your left hand. Otherwise, both hands go up. Inhale and exhale, folding. You start to fold and your knee speaks to you, back off. Otherwise, you're working towards bringing your left hand onto the earth, left fingertips in line with left toe tips, bringing your forehead toward your left shin, breathing Ujjayi form. If you folded, inhale like a half lift, unroll your heart, and take an exhale right there. Use your inhale to stand all the way back up. And exhale, release it. Stand on your right foot for the opposite side. Bend your left knee, pick it up, turn the whole thing out, and then grab a hold of it and draw it up. And the outer blade of your right foot to the inner edge of your right hip, left foot, right hip, excuse me. You can take your left hand around behind and reach for your left big toe. If you grab it, inhale your right arm up. Otherwise, just take both arms up and exhale, fold down. Always listen to the knee joint because when the hip can't go any further, it's usually the knee that takes the pressure. And so as we work openness into the hip, you want to make sure you're not actually just putting extra pressure on the hip's neighbor. Breathing, listening. Try to relax your neck and bring your face towards your leg. Minimal load bearing in your right hand, maximum load bearing in your right heel. If you fold it, inhale, unroll like a halfway lift, and exhale right there. And inhale stands you the rest of the way up. And exhale, Samasthiti, return to neutral. Nice work. Last bit of standing postural practice. The warrior cycle, we get there with a bit of a sun salutation. So inhale your arms up, reaching upward. Exhale, forward fold, dive down. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, chaturanga of your choice. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. Still exhaling, step or float forward for Utkatasana. Land on your feet. Inhale, arms forward or up. 5 breaths. Ujjayi form. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, Bakasana, crow pose, or pre-tuck press, a handstand. So for Bakasana, plant the hands, bend your elbows, bring your knees towards the backs of your arms, and shift your weight. You might go back and forth, shifting the whole time as you breathe. Inhaling forward, exhaling back. You might get light on your toes and squeeze them towards your tail, navel towards your spine. Breathing, if you're tuck pressing or trying to, press into your hands and inhale up onto your tippy toes and exhale your heels down. If you can press all the way up, feel free to. Take a few more rounds of breath to practice either variation. And if you're in crow pose or a handstand and you can softly land in chaturanga, feel free to head. Otherwise, put your feet down and step back, lower halfway, chaturanga dandasana. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward dog, and still exhaling, step your right foot forward for warrior one, back heel down. Inhale, rise up, reaching upward, breathing. Uddiyana and Mula Bandha applied. Soft toes and heavy heels. Do your best to keep your gaze up or your eyes closed. As you inhale to straighten your right leg, reverse your feet, spin it around and bend your left knee, warrior one over the left leg, breathing. Inhale, warrior two, Virabhadrasana B. Feel free to widen the feet as you widen the arms. Left knee stays the bent knee. Gaze out over your left thumb and breathe. Inhale, straighten your left leg, reverse your feet, spin over your right leg and bend your right knee. Warrior two, Virabhadrasana B to the right, breathing. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward dog pose. Exhale, downward dog pose. Take a few breaths in down dog. If you like to hop up into handstand a few times here, take the time to do so. Take a few hops. Inhaling to hop up and exhaling to land softly. When you're ready from down dog, eye the gateway between your hands. And exhale, glide, slide, or struggle through to a seat in Dandasana, the staff pose. Once you find your way into staff pose, legs out long, feet together, ankles flexed back towards you, toes towards your face. As you find your way into this shape, let your shoulders do a bit less and your psoas do a bit more. So use your belly muscles to pull yourself forward and up as you flex your ankles. Light touch with your hands on the earth next to you. Gaze down the line of your nose. Roll your shoulder blades into your middle back and breathe. Let's do Paschimottanasana A, the west side stretch. Take 2 peace sign fingers around each big toe and bend the knees to get a grip or wrap a strap around the balls of your feet. Inhale and roll, half lift style. And exhale, folding. Bend your elbows and pull yourself in and down. Inhale and roll like a halfway lift. Exhale for the B variation. Reach for the outside edges of your heels. Again, you can bend your knees if you need to get that grip around your feet. Inhale and roll your heart, and exhale, folding deeply, breathing, listening for the sound of your own breath. Inhale and roll. Exhale, release the grip. Let's go to the counter posture, east stretch, Purvattanasana. Take your hands behind you 6 to 8 inches. Fingertips point forward or out to the sides a bit. Inhale, lift your heart up, lift your hips up. Exhale, hang your head back, gaze down the line of your nose and breathe in the Ujjayi form. Squeeze your butt, press your thumbs and index knuckles down and press your heart up, breathing now. Exhale, set it down. All right, Lolasana. As our transition, cross your right ankle over your left, plant your hands. Inhale, lift it up. You can exhale to squeeze it through or set it down and come forward onto your hands for Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward dog pose, and exhale, downward dog pose. Breathe in the Ujjayi form. Good. Exhale, step or float forward, land in a seat. So you can always cross one ankle, the other, and sit down behind. You know, a lot more of these seated postures, still very active. Today we're going to skip a few at the beginning and go direct to Janya Shirshasana. Bend your right knee, turn it out, and bring the sole of your right foot to your inner left thigh. Reach for your left foot with both hands. Inhale and roll your heart. And exhale, folding and breathing. In and out through the nose in the Ujjayi form of pranayama. Inhale, unroll your heart. Exhale, release your grip. Hang your left ankle over your right for Lolasana. Inhale, lift it. Exhale, squeeze it back. Chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog pose. Exhale, downward dog. And this time, still exhaling. Slide right on through to a seat for the opposite side. Bend your left knee, sole of your left foot, inner thigh for Janya Shirshasana. Your knee can go wider. You can always take the flesh out from underneath you if you wish. Reach for your right foot with both hands. Inhale, unrolling. And exhale, folding and breathing. Good. Inhale, unroll your heart. Exhale, release the grip. Hang your right ankle over your left for Lolasana. Inhale to lift it up. Exhale to squeeze it back to Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward dog pose. Exhale, downward dog pose. Still exhaling. Slide right on through for Marichyasana A. So we skip B and C to preserve our knees today. Bend your right knee and draw the sole of your right foot up. So for A variation of Marichyasana, plant your heel outside your hip. You want there to be some room between your inner thighs as you're coming down in between. We want to have space to turn the knee in. Inhale your right arm up. Exhale, reach. You might grab for the inside of your left foot or pant leg. You're welcome to take your arms out like this for the posture, or to reach around and try to bind the hands behind the back. Inhale and roll your heart, and exhale, folding. Push your right knee into your right shoulder to send your body forward and down. Inhale and roll your heart. Exhale, release your grip. You're welcome to try to hook your knee behind your armpit and lift that business up, the Lola Marichyasana, inhaling. Or to cross your left ankle over your right and inhale, lift it. And exhale, squeeze it back, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward dog pose. Exhale, downward dog pose. Still exhaling, come right on through for the left-hand side. Plant your left foot and send your right leg out long. Inhale your left arm up and exhale, folding. You might reach for your inner right heel. Take two arms out or choose to bind the hands behind you. Inhale and roll your heart. Exhale, folding deeply and breathing, listening. Listening for the sensations of the body and the sound of your breath. Good. Inhale, unroll your heart, and exhale, release the grip. You can hang the knee behind the armpit again if you'd like trying it, or hang your right ankle over your left. Lolasana, inhale, lift it. Exhale, squeeze it back. Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward dog pose. Exhale, downward dog pose. Marichyasana C. Come right on through. Same leg variation. Set your legs up with a right bent knee, but this time we'll twist. So you might scoot your left leg more forward. Totally okay for the right butt to lift off the ground. Right hand behind you. Inhale, left arm up and over. Alternatively, you can go around. You might bind your hands around behind your back left hip. Gaze back over your right shoulder. Breathe and twist. Exhale, release it. You're welcome to exit in the one-step way. Plant the hands and inhale, lift your hips up to the forward fold position, and exhale, hop back, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog, or exhale, down dog. And still exhaling, come on through. For the left-hand side of Marichyasana C, fold your left leg, right leg keeps on going. Bring your left hand behind you, inhale your right arm up and over or around the outside edge of your right leg. You're welcome to reach around to bind the hands behind the back if you wish. Breathe in the Ujjayi form, twist to the left. Keep your right leg awake, your right ankle flexed. Exhale, release it. Again, you're welcome to Lolasana, or to plant the hands and inhale into the forward fold position. And exhale, drop it down to Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. And still exhaling, come right on through into boat pose, Navasana. You can have hands on the ground. You're always welcome to more toes down variation if it gives you lift here and relaxation in your shoulders. Arms can go out or up. Gaze down the line of your nose towards your toes and breathe. Cross your right ankle over your left. Try to keep your feet off the ground, even if your butt doesn't lift. Lolasana, hands down. Inhale, try to lift it up. Exhale, set it right back down. Boat pose, breathing. Cross your left ankle over your right. Squeeze the ankles together like they're hooks pulling apart. Hands down. Inhale, Lolasana. Exhale, set it down. Boat pose. Breathing. Cross your right ankle over your left. Lolasana. Inhale, lift it. Exhale, set it down. Boat pose. Breathing. Cross your left ankle over your right. Lolasana. Inhale, lift it. Exhale, set it down. Boat pose. Last one. Breathing. Cross your right ankle over your left. Lolasana. Inhale, lift it up. Exhale, squeeze it back to Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale into up dog or cobra. If you want to, you can stay here for a few breaths. Stretch out your abdominals, your psoas. We'll meet back with an exhale in your own timing in downward dog pose. Good. Eye the gateway between your hands and exhale, glide, slide, or struggle through to a seat. Once you're in a seated position, we're going to do a little bit of skipping. We're going to skip our shoulder pinning pose and skip Kurmasana. But we're going to do a little bit of the next line of posture, which is rocking and rolling. It's usually done in lotus, and if you have ease in lotus, feel free to go ahead and wrap your legs up and do it that way. Otherwise, you're just going to take your legs and cross your ankles, and just like you were a little bit for Lolasana. You can hold onto your knees or hold your arms around this way, and also hold tighter if a tight ball helps. We're going to try to rock and roll. And there's two ways. You can rock and roll just from neck to tail and just keep it simple. Try to use your inhales to roll your heart up and your exhales to roll back. It's that same tucking and tilting. Or you can try going in a circle. We're going to do about 10 of them. So I'll start front to back and start circling. Go clockwise if you're circling. Take an inhale. And on your exhale, rock back. Inhale, roll up. And exhale, rock back. You can follow your own breath. And if you get stuck, try to keep your sense of humor. I want to tell you that I get stuck all the time. And just get yourself back up off your side and keep rocking. You can use your legs pumping in and out towards your chest, but mostly try to use the rounding and extending of your spine. Inhale up and exhale back to turn around in a circle. This is the part we usually skip, right? So give yourself a few more rocks and rolls. And the next time you're up at the top, we'll do Lolasana or Kukutasana. If you have your arms bound through or your legs in lotus, you can keep them that way for Utputihi. Otherwise, plant your hands and inhale, lift your hips up. Good. Exhale, set it down. Let's go to Chaturanga Dandasana. Come forward and step or float back. Inhale, upward dog pose. Exhale, downward dog pose. Still exhaling, come right on through for a seat. Let's find Baddha Konasana. Bring the soles of your feet together. Get some light here in the darkest time in my house. Roll the soles of your feet up and open. You're welcome to scooch closer, working the inner groin. If your inner knee feels too much pressure, take a more diamond shape. Inhale and roll your heart, and exhale, folding. And when you can fold no further with a long spine, you're welcome to tuck your chin and bring your forehead actively to your toes, or to hang your head and let yourself round. Breathe. Good. Inhale, unroll your heart. Exhale, release your grip. Cross your right ankle over your left. Lolasana. Inhale, lift it up. Exhale, squeeze it back. Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. Still exhaling. Come right on through for a seat. We'll take Upavishta Konasana, the wide angle pose. So take your legs out as reasonably wide as is good for you. And sometimes a little activation, rolling up and out, can be helpful. Flex your ankles. And again, if you need to bend the knees, it's always okay to do that kind of work here, especially if all the pressure is in the backs of your knees. You're welcome to stay upright. Use your hands behind you to roll your heart up and maybe hang your chin down. If it's for you to start to fold down, you can walk your hands forward or slide your hands down your legs, and eventually coming down to a point where you feel like you can still breathe. Things are interesting, not so pressureful that they're not thriving. Attentive. Good. Inhale like a halfway lift. Exhale, sit up. Today we're going to do a little bit of the balanced or perched form. So once you've sat up, know that you might have to grab behind your knees, lean back, and kind of lift up. Otherwise, try to lift your legs up. You can grab behind the knees, or you can take two peace sign fingers around each big toe. Point the foot, flex the toes, and lift your heart up. Now, a lot of us will have to think about pulling the heart through. Even with knees bent, you might have to contract your hamstrings so you have something stable to pull yourself up by. Tilt your chest up, gaze down the line of your nose, and breathe. Be mindful of any sort of small dogs or cats or expensive glassware around you while you do this. Another rock and roll action. Exhale, slowly start to tuck your tail and roll onto your back. And inhale your legs up overhead behind you. Scooch a little more into shot. Like you're doing halasana, the plow pose. Your legs can stay wide. Tilt your pubic bone up, your tail out and back. Gaze down the line of your nose and breathe. You can always take your hips in your hands if you need more support. To go back the way we came, start to use an exhale to round your spine towards the earth. Start to roll your tail back down. And an inhale to try to lift your heart up and perch. Now, that might not work out. Give it a couple of tries with leg straightening, and then do what you need to do to get up there. And once you're up there, we try to find a soft landing. Inhale. And with your ankles nice and high, exhaling your calves to the ground, and then maybe folding one last time, face towards the earth. Good. Inhale and roll, half lift style. If you'd like, you can exhale to plant your hands. We worked a little on this the last couple of weeks, the Lola Konasana. Lift your legs up, plant your hands on the earth, take an exhale. Inhale, push your hands down and try to lift your hips up. And you can do that a few times and then get back to chaturanga how you'd like. If you have space to sweep your legs around into crow or back to chaturanga do, we'll up dog and meet in downward dog pose on the exhale. Good. Eye the gateway between your hands and exhale, glide, slide, or struggle through to a seat in Dandasana, the staff pose. Good, and exhale, round it on down onto your back. Once you're all the way down, bend your knees and plant the soles of your feet on your mat close to your hips. And bring your upper body down. We're going to take 5 back bends because we did 5 boat poses. You're welcome to work on bridge or supported bridge with a stack of books or a block under your hips. That's the shoulder supported form. You're welcome to work on Urdhva Dhanurasana, upward bow, or some people call it wheel pose, with your hands on the ground. You can alternate between these options throughout, and we'll try to stay in each round for 5 breaths. This is classic. When we come down in between, you're welcome to rest all the way down on your back like this position, to come down onto the crown of your head. And of course, if you're taking a supported form, you don't have to come down at all. All right, let's begin, shall we? I'll cue you through bridge this first time, but you're welcome to do whatever makes sense for you. Exhale, press your low back down, and inhale, tuck your tail and lift your hips up. Low back, middle back, you might roll your shoulder blades together underneath you. You are welcome to put your hands on the floor and press down, or to bend your elbows to roll your shoulders together. Some people like hands on the hips or fingers interwoven underneath. Be kind with your chin. Try to relax your neck. Look down the center line of your body and breathe. If you're up in a supported form, stay. Otherwise, in the next few rounds of breath, unlock any arm grip and slowly come down. Your tail's on the ground, rest. If you find your low back is really tender, you're welcome to drop your knees from side to side. Resist the desire to bring your knees into your chest unless you have like a lot of spinal range. Sometimes it's just a lot to go from one extreme to the other. Second round, feel free to repeat bridge or to move into upward facing bow by bringing your hands onto the mat near your ears. Fingers point down to the shoulders, thumbs point in, elbows hug in. Starts the same way otherwise. Exhale your low back down and inhale, lift your hips up. Press into your hands. You might pause on the crown of your head, pull your elbows in and away from what you're looking at. And then inhale to come on up if you haven't already by pushing into the hands and extending through the arms. Breathe. Now, if at any point you feel like you're doing violence to yourself, disregard the count and come down to rest. Honor your body, your experience. Otherwise, breathe about 5 breaths, about 3 more. Now, if you love staying up, stay up. Otherwise, on your exhale, come down. You might come down to rest on the crown of the head. If the neck isn't pressured, come all the way down onto the shoulders and rest. 3 rounds of breath. Third round. You're coming up into upward facing bow. Plant your hands. Take an exhale and inhale. Come on up. Breathing now. Relax your neck. No need to look up underneath you. Let your head dangle. Exhale. Come on down. 3 breaths. Inhale. Come on up. 5 breaths. Exhale. Come on down. 3 breaths. Next inhale, come on up. This is the last one. Any form of back bending, or if you're resting instead, pay attention to those sensations for 5 breaths. Exhale, come on down. Rest. You can drop your knees when you're ready from side to side to loosen out any tightness you might be feeling. When it feels available in your lower back, gather your knees into your chest and give yourself a good squeeze. And rock yourself front to back a few times. Rock yourself forward, roll yourself up, pick yourself up. Chaturanga Dandasana, step or float back. Inhale, upward dog, be mindful. Exhale, downward dog. And still exhaling, slide right on through. Sit in Dandasana. We'll take any form of seated forward fold you like as the counteraction to all that back bending. So any grip you want, inhale and roll. Exhale, folding. Might even be kind of a passive hanging. Breathe. 5 rounds of breath. Good. Inhale, unroll your heart. And exhale, release your grip. Today, let's just start to roll all the way down onto the back. And we'll head into a halasana, the plow pose, as a setup for shoulder stand. But I just want to give a little bit of a, probably like all of you have had somebody do this to you, honestly, if you've gone to yoga and someone's taught shoulder stand. But if you haven't, if you feel like your neck gets really pinched up in shoulder stand and plow, take a blanket and fold it a couple of times until it has some height. Or if you have a really good couch cushion, that might be a good height too. And then you can do this by hanging your neck off of the end of the blanket. So if the blanket is down, your shoulders come onto the blanket, and my head hangs onto the ground off of it. That'll give the curve of your neck a little space. Now, having said that, doing that makes my neck feel weird, so I don't do it. But as you come down, you might start to take your toes up overhead if you haven't already. And if your feet get to the floor, you might start with toes curled underneath. You can utilize your hands to catch your hips at first. If it feels stable, you might interweave your fingers and roll your shoulder blades together. Once that's going down, if you're holding your hips in your hands, we head to Sarvangasana, the shoulder stand. You can take your legs up overhead, over your hips. If it doesn't feel good to take them up, you don't have to. Breathing here, about 8 breaths. You're welcome to stay, especially if you love it. Otherwise, we head into Halasana now for our time in that posture. Lower the legs down. You're welcome to keep the hands on the hips, sort of interweave the fingers and roll the pinky side edge of your wrists down. If your feet come easily to the floor, you might point your toes and bring the tops of your feet down. Either way, instead of letting your spine round, you might extend your tail out and back. Try to get your spine more long like Dandasana and breathe. You're welcome to stay, or for these last 4 or 5 breaths, you might head to the ear pinning pose, Karna Pidasana, bringing the knees towards the ears or the forehead. And if they get there, squeezing them. Breathe in that variety too. This is Albert, my wiener dog. If you're hearing him quack around nearby, walk through the shot. Good. Slowly, if you pinch your knees to your ears, straightening your legs back to the plow pose, bringing your hands back to your hips, and slowly, one bone at a time, rolling down into Matsyasana fish pose. So if you'd like, you can fold your legs in lotus or take your legs out long on the ground, straight and together. Lift your heart up, hang your head back. If your legs are in lotus, you might choose to grab a hold of your feet and lift your heart up in that way. You might find instead, if your legs are out long, bringing your elbows down, your arms out, palms facing up. Try to draw your shoulder blades together and down so that you have buoyancy in the front of your ribs. Gaze down the line of your nose, then breathe. Feel free to stay in fish or head to Uttana Padasana by straightening and extending your legs up the ground, up off the ground, 30 to 45 degrees. Arms out long, parallel to the legs, palms pressed. Good. Chakrasana, slow release. You can either rock and roll back up towards sitting, or if you have classic backward roll, rock back to Chaturanga Dandasana. Once you're up, Lolasana, pick yourself up, plant your hands, step or float back, Chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. All right. And today, we're going to spend about 1 to 2 minutes doing our headstand work. So you can exhale, come down to your knees. If you have a headstand practice, I know some of you do, go ahead and head into it. My suggestion is to start by trying to count 10 slow, deep breaths. I'll probably call you out of it before then. If it's a new practice for you, you might measure out your elbows, interweave your fingers, keep your palms close together, curl your toes under, and come into the dolphin down dog. You can stay here and breathe, bend your knees and walk your feet in to bring your hips over your arms and extend through your shoulders so you're active and relax your neck. If you know you just need to go to a wall to do your headstand practice, but it's safe, you don't end up with a headache afterwards or a neck ache, feel free to do so, to head to a place that makes more sense for you. I'm not going to demonstrate it because you're probably doing it, so you know what it looks like in your mind's eye. Try to count your breath. Slow your breath down. Remember, no effort is wasted. So if you're up there and you're struggling just to take 2 or 3 rounds of breath, know that that's often how it goes, right? This is how process is. Right? Things that are difficult become skilled and more easy. They always take effort and attention. So remember, you're not trying to conquer anything or master anything. Those are hierarchical terms, and this is process-based work. Just a few more breaths here. If you're up and you want to stay up a little longer, if you just got up into the headstand, please allow yourself to stay a little bit longer if you wish. Otherwise, when you're ready to let it go, we'll meet in child's pose. And bring your forehead to the earth and your arms either out long in front or back by the hips as you settle your hips to your heels. And slowly in the next few breaths, find your way through to Chaturanga Dandasana, inhaling to upward dog pose and exhaling to downward dog pose. And from downward dog, glide, slide, or struggle through to a seat. We're going to do just a little bit of a classical form of ending this practice. Again, it's just a form of it. So if you have a lotus practice, you're welcome to cross your legs in lotus. If not, you're welcome to try doing what I'm doing, which is crossing one foot on top and one foot underneath, or to sit in any form of sort of square or cross-legged position that feels good for you to start with. We'll start with working the hands behind the back and folding forward. So eventually in lotus, you reach around, maybe you grab your toes with your fingers, right? Maybe, right? Today, if that's not for you, you'll grab your elbows, and especially if you're not in lotus and you don't have both feet to grab, grab for your elbows. Take an inhale, lift your heart up. Exhale, fold forward. Either hang your head or bring your forehead or chin towards a block or the earth. 10 breaths. Inhale, sit yourself all the way up. And exhale, release the arms. Bring the hands to the knees. You can have palms up or palms down, or you can take Shin Mudra, uniting the individual with the universal, the thumb to the index finger. Sit up tall, gaze down the line of your nose, and take 10 slow Ujjayi breaths. All right, Uputihi. If you're wrapped in lotus, you might stay wrapped in lotus. And also do this as Lolasana or with one leg crossed and one foot down, in which case you might want to switch at about the halfway mark. We're going to lift up for about 13 breaths, or make the attempt to. You can plant your hands on the earth or on blocks or on books for more height. You'll have to use a little bit of psoas, of closing the front of the body. Take an exhale and inhale, lift yourself up, breathing. Halfway. Good. Exhale, set yourself down. You're welcome to uncross your legs and inhale to Lolasana, or inhale Lola Padmasana, and exhale Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward facing dog pose. Exhale, downward dog pose. And still exhaling, glide right on through to a seat on your mat. Roll down onto your back and rest. You're welcome to rest in any position you like, really. A seat, on your belly, on your side. You're welcome to sidle over to some comfortable furniture to move that pet out of the way, etc., that you need to. Once you've found a resting position that you can be in, allow yourself to stay and settle. If you need to do any last fidgets or wiggles or yayas, allow that to be true. You might pick a spot to see on the ceiling or sky, or you might close your eyes altogether at this point. And as you take this time to settle down into the earth, if you need to be supported, you might acknowledge that and support yourself. We'll rest for about 4 or 5 minutes, and then I'll call you up and out just a couple of minutes after 10:30, the closing chant to seal our work. If you'd like to mute my end of things or turn down the volume of your computer so you can rest longer, feel free to. If you need to sort of turn off and leave early, it's okay to do so. Otherwise, close the eyes, relax your back teeth, let your tongue sit in your mouth. And take a moment to work the magic of relaxation. There's so much emphasis in our world about doing, and you just did something, right? You just did this practice. Can you allow yourself now the luxury of being as you are without any micromanagement of self? Pay attention to how things are from a point of view of kindness and power, of non-attachment. I'll call you up and out when it's time to return to action. Until then, total surrender. Swasti Prajabhyah Paripalayantam Nyayena Margena Mahim Mahishaha Govramanye Bhyahya Shubhamastu Nityam Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. If you are lying in rest and have the opportunity and the wish to remain, please feel free to do so. If the time has come for you to begin to return towards action, start by going to the breath and asking it to deepen a little once more, to breathe on purpose, pulling it back up from the involuntary sense at the root of the brain, the voluntary sense, the frontal and motor cortex. As you start to breathe deeper, you might find that that movement moves the body. You could wiggle your fingers and toes. Maybe there's intuitive action that's new today. Maybe there's a ritual, tongue over teeth, scrunch the face. Slowly reawakening in your own timeline with your breath. You might even stretch out or up like a cartoon character waking from a nap. And if you're on your back in the next 5 or 6 rounds of breath and movement, pick a time to draw your knees to your chest and to roll over onto your favorite side and pause there with your knees in. Rest your head on a hand or a prop, an arm or the earth. Take a moment here on the side just to acknowledge process over time. Imagine all of the contributing factors, cosmic, vast, historical, back before there were humans, the humans in your own lifetime, your own lineage, the ancestry of our human siblings around us, and the lands that we occupy. Consider what has taught you, what has been difficult for you, who has supported you. Remember to count yourself among your boons, that which is able to turn towards process and practice power and peace. And consider how your actions here and now in this moment today set forth that ball of future action rolling forward in time. What will come based on what you're practicing. And when you're ready, you can just slowly use your top hand to press yourself up towards a tall seat. We'll seal in the practice together. As you do slowly transition, that's the classical closing chant in the lineage of Krishnamacharya from which Ashtanga Yoga comes. It's from the Rig Veda, which is one of these oldest texts. Veda really means knowledge, so it's a gathering of knowledge. And the Rig Veda is particularly pertinent in that it sort of sets out the darshan or philosophy for things like Tantra and Yoga and Vedanta and Buddhism, right? So a lot of these practices that we find so helpful in our world today. The overarching meaning of the text is, may the energy that creates no victory over destruction. May the noble practitioners and leaders here be blessed, and may their work be effective and cultivate wisdom and abundance. And may our work seek to contribute to the happiness and liberation of all beings everywhere inside of this context of universality, non-dualism, and peace. You wish you can fold your hands in the Anjali Mudra, the prayer position, to hold a symbol, a gesture of non-dualism, or hold it in the eye of your mind. We live in a world where things seem separate. Yoga asks us to study that illusion until we understand where separate things meet. And that place is where we understand union and non-dualism. Thank you for your time, your energy, your courageous effort. I honor and salute your work by naming it in Sanskrit, by greeting it, by saying the word Namaste. Thank you so much for practicing.